Did you know Joe Rogan had not one, not two, but 3 hair transplants? And he still ends up shaving his head. We're going to tell you all about Rogan's story and the lessons on hair loss and transplants in today's video. Stay tuned. Hey guys, Leon here from HairGod.com, where people who are worried about their hair loss go to regrow their hair. Guys, if you're personally worried about your own hair loss, then do make sure to click the link in the description to take the HairGod hair loss quiz. All you've got to do is answer a few short and simple questions about yourself and your hair loss. Then you'll receive free, personalized, expert information on how to regrow healthy hair. So the topic of celebrity hair transplants is a bit of a tricky one. Most celebrities will either flat out refuse to answer the question or deny ever having one, even when the evidence is blatant. Other times we get cryptic half denials, like with Matthew McConaughey. When asked if his hair was natural, his famous reply was, quote, yeah, that's what I got. And he would later add, quote, this is my hair. Now, we're not suggesting that you transplanted somebody else's hair, we know that it's yours. But you get the point. Now, when it comes to Joe Rogan, we don't have to deal with any of that. Rogan is very straightforward about his own transplants. He has talked about them openly on a number of occasions and does not hesitate to admit that it's something that he actually now regrets. You can see him in this photo from 1993 when he was 26 years old. He already had advanced frontal recession, probably a 3 on the Norwood scale. He got his first transplant shortly after this photo was taken. He had been on minoxidil for some time, and that was apparently slowing down his baldness. But at some point, Rogan decided enough was enough, and he went ahead and had his first hair transplant. On various occasions, he's placed his first operation when he was between 26 to 28, so sometime between 1994 and 1995. And this was the time when FUT was just going mainstream. And obviously the technology hadn't matured to what it is today. The result being that Joe is now stuck with a massive strip excision scar on the back of his head. He describes this as a stupid smile. Rogan would go on to have 2 more transplants for a total of 3. You can see the results in this photo taken around 2002, but his hair kept on falling out. Then in 2012, it had gotten to the point where he decided to shave his head. And ever since, he's been the bold Joe Rogan that we all know today. Now, Rogan has been very frank about why he decided to have his transplants. He had basically gone from a penniless stand-up comedian to making big money on television shows, and he attributed his success in large part to his appearance. In his own words, I wasn't an ugly dude and it helped. And he was not prepared to give all this up. Today, as I said, this is a decision that he regrets, calling it one of the biggest mistakes of his life. And if he could go back, he says that he would never do it again. Guys, believe it or not, Rogan actually enjoys being bald. He says that even if he could magically grow a thick head of hair today, he would still shave it. He's had enough of the hassle and can't be bothered even with going to the barber. I guess when you're the presenter of one of the most popular podcasts in world history, you'll kind of start seeing the world through a different lens. So guys, what is the takeaway from all of this? What can Joe Rogan's transplant fail teach us? Well, for better or for worse, the most important thing to take away is that we're just not at a point yet where we can buy our hair back. The technology just isn't there right now. You can have unlimited money. You can be in a position to afford unlimited transplants from the best surgeons in the world. But if your underlying pattern baldness is bad, you're just buying time. You're not going to be able to buy a permanent head of hair. Just like with other long-term health conditions, be it cosmetic or even life-threatening. You can mask the symptoms for so long, but you can't buy real health. You have to put in the work for that. So if you haven't stabilized your hair loss, the transplant will only mask this for a certain period of time. The underlying pattern baldness will keep on progressing, and soon you'll need a second transplant, and then a third, and then you'll probably be out of donor follicles. So that's tens of thousands of dollars, multiple surgeries and scars on your head, and then you're back to zero. Sure, you'll have bought a few years of a decent head of hair, but do you really want to spend your time and energy fighting a losing battle? Well, there is another way. Take Will, the founder of HairGod. Will came from a family with a very heavy predisposition to pattern baldness. His dad was bald, and his uncle from his mother's side was also bald. Will started going bald already in his teens. You can see in this photo how Will's hair loss had progressed quickly. So Will decided to treat the problem at its root. He began experimenting with a multi-pronged treatment that involved more than just cosmetic surgery or popping a pill. He adopted healthy hair habits, made changes to his diet, started supplementing, and above all, he started relieving the scalp tension in his scalp through daily scalp massages. The result? He was able to stabilize and even partially reverse his hair loss. If you click the video on the screen now, you can learn more about the 8 steps that Will used to regrow his healthy hair.